guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to be reviewing The Devil's Cord, episode 2 of season 1 of Doctor Who, and I had a lot of fun with this one. This is one that definitely doesn't take itself too seriously. It has a lot of fun with it. It has this kind of Horns of Nimon time lash vibe to it, which are both stories I enjoy, even though its production value is, of course, much better than those stories. First off, Jinx Monsoon. I had never heard of her before being cast in Doctor Who. I've found out stuff about her since, and I know she's popular and won several drag contests. But I didn't know her as an actress. I didn't know how good she'd be in the role. Phenomenal casting. Phenomenal. She just eats every scene she's in wonderfully. I mean, she is just... It's this great cross of being campy and scary at this. There is a scary, terrifying undertone to her performance that can't be easy to do while still being over the top and very out there and bombastic. And I loved it. I think it was very well balanced. Because she has these times where, I like how Seska put it in her review, because after I watched the episode, I had to watch her reviews of it, her reaction to it. And she talks about how Jinx uses this guttural voice sometimes, like when she's going, mine. And it's perfect, the way that she can change the inflection of her voice to match the tone she's going for, whether it's being scary, whether it's being campy. It's just a great villain. I really liked it. Really, Soldeed would be proud. Soldeed and Tekker would be proud. And keeping in mind, I love the Horns of Nimon. I really like Time Lash. And I really like Soldeed, and I really like Tekker. I think that's what Paul Darrow's character was named in Time Lash. Tekker, was that right? I love both of those characters. And let's admit it, they're both over the top. Soldeed is like the over-the-top champion, although he might have a rival for that now. So I get into that kind of campy stuff. I love campy Doctor Who. I love the Williams era. I love season 17 of classic Doctor Who. My favorite scene in all of Doctor Who is, of course, in City of Death, when the Doctor's being interrogated by the Countess. Why are you following me? Or why is he following me? Well, you're a beautiful woman, probably. That's my favorite line in all of Doctor Who. You're a beautiful woman, probably. So I love that kind of camp. What a wonderful butler. He's so violent. I love that. So this kind of story works for me. It's not perfect. I'm not even saying it's essential, but I had fun with it. Horns of Nimon. I don't know how many people have been paying attention, but I've been doing a ranking series where I'm ranking all of classic Doctor Who. It's a 6-video series. We've done 4 videos so far. The only 2 left are the top 50 stories. And if anyone's been paying attention, we still haven't reached Horns of Nimon on that list yet, because Horns of Nimon is in my top 50 classic Doctor Who stories of all time. Not because I objectively think it deserves to be there, but because I love it. I have so much fun with it. Time Lash was probably a lot higher. We have discussed Time Lash already, but it was a lot higher than a lot of people would have had it because I have so much fun with that story. I like Creature from the Pit a lot too. So I like campy Doctor Who, and this fits that. It's not perfect. The musical number at the end I don't really think was necessary. I will admit I was sitting there going, what? But by that time I was in a good mood. I was just rolling with the episode. I was like, sure, why not? Why not? Doctor Who is a TV show that can transcend genres. We all know that. So why not a musical? Sure. Is it breaking the fourth wall? Yes, this episode does that a lot. And I'm not a big fan of it really breaking the fourth wall. I didn't mind when Jinx was doing it. But that when the Doctor winked at the camera, which is, I can see why they use that in the trailers, the Doctor winking at the camera, but I don't really care for him doing it. I didn't mind when Jinx did it. When he does it, it kind of bothers me. So the musical number on one hand seems a little much. It seems almost parody. But on the other hand, it fits the tone of the episode just fine, so I just rolled with it. I do like when they first come out of the TARDIS and they're at Abbey Road, and they're so excited to be at Abbey Road and doing the little dance on the road. Because, I mean, that's a famous Beatles cover for, of course, the album Abbey Road. So that's pretty neat. And I love at the end when they're walking on it and the stripes start lighting up. Now, one of the reasons I like that is it reminds me of the movie Big with Tom Hanks. And I love that movie. I've loved that movie ever since I was a kid. It's possibly my favorite Tom Hanks movie. I have such childhood nostalgia for that movie. When they're tap dancing on the keyboard thing on the ground. It reminded me of that, so I had happy feelings for that. And then, once again, as I mentioned in my Space Babies review, one of the best things this season, well, two of the best things are JLBWHO and Millie Gibson in their roles. They are just phenomenally good in them. I really like the 15th Doctor a lot. It's nice to have a modern Doctor that doesn't have all the baggage. This is the first time we've really had a Doctor in the modern series where all the Time War baggage is just gone. He's happy, he's full of life, he just wants to travel the universe like the Doctors of old. I like that. There's none of this oncoming storm or lonely god stuff. He's just out having fun, seeing the universe, and stuff happens to him. I like Millie Gibson because, as I mentioned in my Space Babies review, she asked the right questions. She's actually asking things like, what if I step on a butterfly? Is it safe to go out? What's out there? Don't we need to get clothes to fit in with this period? Stuff that normally gets glossed over because it's a TV show. You know, you just kind of don't worry about all that. It's a TV show. So I like the fact she's actually asking legit questions that people really would ask in that situation. And then their chemistry together is so good. Like, Millie and Shooty as actors and then as characters, the Doctor and Ruby, they just click so well. I love their chemistry together. I'm already really liking this TARDIS team. I just feel like they bounce off of each other so well. Now, the episode does build a little more on the mystery of what's up with Ruby, with the Christmas song being in her and trying to figure out who she is. I mean, she is kind of a mystery box. Not the first time a companion's done that, and it is getting a little old hat at this point. But, I mean, that's just the path they're going with it, and it was nice to get some more of that, and even Jinx was like, what? Or Maestro, I should say, was like, huh? That was pretty neat. I did like the scene when the Doctor managed to temporarily outsmart her using the sonic to get rid of all the sound. That was a really well executed scene. And how even Maestro was commending on it. Like, stop him. I like that. Before, of course, utterly thwarting it. I think she was beaten a little too easily. Like the Doctor just happening to pick most of the right notes. I don't really buy that. But I did love the fact they gave John Lennon and Paul McCartney, you know, their bit to shine at the end by picking the, yes, we're going straight into spoilers here, picking the right note. That's very, especially both of them together, since they did write a lot of their songs together. I did like that. And the fact that the Doctor would have lost if it wasn't for them. I did enjoy that. It's really odd to me that none of the Beatles look like the Beatles. Like, they just don't look like, the casting is just, doesn't look anything like the Beatles. That does bother me. Just a little thing in the back of my head that I'm like, doesn't look anything like the Beatles. I wish they'd cast that a little better, but that's a minor nitpick. The execution of this story, as I mentioned in episode 1, is really well. The Disney money looks really good. I'm liking the effects. I love the camera work. It has a really nice feel to it. It doesn't have that quite cinematic look that the Whittaker era had, but that's a good thing. One of my biggest problems with the Whittaker era was it did kind of have this too cinematic look to it that doesn't, it feels different here. This feels more like Doctor Who. It's really hard to explain what I mean by that, but it does. I really like a lot of the camera work that's being done here, and a lot of the shots looked really good. I thought the opening was good. The fact her playing the piano led into the theme. I enjoyed that. I thought that was a really fun watch. I really wish I could get my reaction up. I've done reactions for Space Babies and Devil's Cord, but YouTube keeps blocking my Space Babies reaction, which is very frustrating. I'm disputing them, but we'll see. I filmed a reaction for Devil's Cord with a review afterwards. I haven't started editing on that yet because I want to see how this goes. Now, I will be releasing the Devil's Cord full uncut reaction on Patreon. It's not up yet. It may be by the time this goes up. But if you want to see my reaction to the Devil's Cord, that's available. That will be available, if it's not already, to my patrons at the $5 tier and up, which is my second tier. I have a $2 tier, then a $5 tier and higher. The full uncut review of Space Babies is already up on Patreon, and Devil's Cord will get a full one as well, because that has been recorded. If you want to check that out, a link to my Patreon is down in the description. But I had fun with this one. Again, it has its small little issues, but I take it in the same vein as Horns of Nimon and those kind of stories, where I don't take Time Lash, for example, where I don't really take them. Some people might take Delta and the Bannerman, which I can't really get into, but some people like it. Where you don't take it too seriously, you enjoy it for what it is. It's a lot of fun. I think my opinion of this one would have varied very much depending on my mood when watching it. but I wasn't watching this late at night. I was watching it mid-afternoon. I was in a good mood. I was in a humorous mood. I found this episode well cast, well directed, and very funny. It really, really had me chuckling and laughing and going, what the? Okay, why not? And at the end of the day, I liked it. I know there's going to be a lot of people on YouTube bashing it for every which reason they can think of. But, and people probably expected me to do that because I'm a classic Who fan and I don't always like the way modern Who's been handled. I have a lot of issues with the Whittaker era. But there's also several episodes of the Whittaker era I like. I'm a strong defender of Series 12, even though The Timeless Children's terrible. But I defend most of that season. I like most of that season. And so I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I didn't like an episode if I liked it. And I liked it. I had fun with this episode. I don't know how I'll feel about it on a rewatch. You never know. But it was fun. It had me laughing. It had me in a good mood. What more can you really ask for? Also, again, I didn't go into this episode expecting it to be, like top tier Doctor Who. I didn't expect it to be the Pyramids of Mars, which it kind of was for a second, actually. And because there is that one scene in it when the Doctor takes Ruby to the future and she sees the alternate 2024 and it's desolate. That's very much an homage, I think. And it feels like a loving homage, not a stolen idea or cribbed from Pyramids of Mars. It feels like a lovely homage to Pyramids of Mars, of course, when the Fourth Doctor has to teach Sarah the same lesson when he takes her to that 1980 and it's that alternate dead, desolate 1980, that wasteland. And he looks at her and he's like, 1980, Sarah, if you want to get off. And it even does the thing where when they arrived in 1980, the Doctor just opened the door and he was facing away. He didn't even go out at first. He was facing away at the console while she went out. He does that here too, where he stays by the console not even looking as she goes out. To me, that's just a touching homage to the Pyramids of Mars is how I took that. And I liked to see it. I enjoyed seeing it. I'm sure there were a lot of us that when we saw it, we were like, I see what you did there. So yeah, The Devil's Court. It's a lot of fun. Is it like top tier Doctor Who? I wouldn't say that, but it's a good time. I like the Horns of Nimon, so I can like this. So I want to know what you think of The Devil's Court. Comment down below and let me know. I also have a Patreon if you would like to subscribe to that. There's a link down there as well. I want to give a shout out to a couple of my top tier patrons, Colin Coney and Perkins. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. It's very much appreciated. I have a P.O. box if there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review. A link to my Amazon wish list is down there. A link to my Amazon UK wish list is also down there as well. Most importantly, thank you for watching.